3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Austin here, and welcome back to yet another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to transform your photos from this to something beautiful and stunning like this using Adobe Lightroom. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Let's get right to it. The program that we're going to be using today is Adobe Lightroom. Adobe Lightroom does come in two different versions. You have Adobe Lightroom Classic and you have Adobe Lightroom CC. The editing software, the technicalities of it, it's pretty much the same thing whether you're on a laptop, your tablet, or your phone. Today I'm going to be using my iPad Pro to show you on Adobe Lightroom CC. But as I said, you can also follow this on Adobe Lightroom Classic on your computer or Adobe Lightroom CC on your computer or your tablet or your phone. Pretty much gonna be the same exact thing. Tip number one before we get started. So the turnout of your edit and the turnout of your photo is really based on this one thing, and it's getting the right photo in camera first. A few things to take note of to get the right photo in camera is the time of day that you're shooting. You do want to shoot dawn, dusk, when the sun is the lowest in the horizon and that light is just glowing and wherever you are. You don't really want to take photos with the sun directly above. If there's a cloudy day, you might, get away with it. Second, you want to make sure you get the proper exposure in camera. Don't blow out your highlights. Don't crush your blacks. You want your photo to be evenly balanced. What? Another thing, shoot raw. If you haven't shot in RAW before, take your camera, switch it into RAW, and take your shots raw. The reason why is an uncompressed image is absolutely amazing to edit. You have so much control of the photo, of the highlights, of the shadows, versus that of a compressed JPEG image. And the last quick tip is take about 3 shots, maybe 2 or 3 shots in the same exact spot. What happens is when you go to edit, in case something is out of focus, or you can just go ahead and mask that in and correct your photo where needed. Now that that's all handled, you got the right photo, let's go ahead and dive right into Adobe Lightroom CC. We're gonna go ahead and select our first photo. The photo I have here is the Trump clock outside of the Trump Tower in New York City. A lot of traffic, a lot of people in the shots. It was a foggy day. Light was evenly spread everywhere. And this is the shot that I got straight out of camera. Go ahead and select this as our edit. Now, if you go over to the right-hand side, you're gonna see profiles, and then you're gonna see underneath profiles, you're gonna see light. Go ahead and hit light, and this is where you're gonna find your basic edits. First, you wanna go ahead and edit your photo with the basic edits, playing with the highlights. As you can see, as I'm changing the highlights, it's just giving me the sky and some reflections in the glass, but that's about it. So I want the photo to be nice and bright. I'm gonna increase my highlights just a tad bit. After that, I'm gonna go over to my contrast. If you go higher with the contrast, you're gonna lose a lot of detail. You go lower, it flattens your image. So you wanna find something that you're comfortable with. Right now, I'm looking at this Trump Tower clock, and I'm basing my contrast according to that, being that it is the main focus of the photo. So that looks good right there. Exposure looks fine. I'm not gonna touch the exposure. I feel it's well exposed. Shadows now. Shadows is a tough one. Shadows can uncover a lot of detail in your photos, and at the same time, it can introduce a lot of grain to compensate for those dark areas. I'm gonna bring my shadows up a little bit more because I want some detail on the buildings to the far side of the image. Blacks, I love to crush my blacks. Not so much where you can't really tell what's going on, but just enough where I get a deep enough black where it just stands out on the page. If you're ever interested in doing prints, crush blacks and prints looks great. So over to the right hand side, you're gonna see icon with sliders. Below it, you're gonna see a masking icon, and right below that, you're gonna see a crop icon. We're gonna go ahead and adjust the photo. What I like to do is just do it automatic. You hit the level one straighten, and it automatically adjusts your photo for you. Don't always trust the computer. Take a look, make sure your lines are straight. Looks good to me. I'm gonna head and hit done. We went across the exposure, contrast, highlights. The photo is well balanced, and it's time to move on to color. Now, color is really where your stylized edit is gonna start to show. So once you open color, you get your color temperature, you get your tint, you get the vibrance and saturation. Those are your main settings with color. On this day, it was pretty blue. I don't normally like the blue tint. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this color temperature slider, and I'm gonna warm it up just a tad bit. As you see, as I rise, it looks like a different time of day in the photo, which actually can be a style that you go for. But for this photo, I'm just gonna bring it up just a tad bit. Now, quick tip, if you wanna review the edit that you've done, you go ahead and hold the photo, and just like that, you can see a big difference in the photo already. So if you're on a mobile phone or your tablet, you go ahead and hold the photo to see the before, and once you release, it'll take you back to what you have edited, which is your after. If you're on Lightroom on the computer, you're gonna see an icon on the bottom window of your photo, and it's gonna be two Ys next to each other. You click that, it'll show you a side-by-side comparison. You click it again, it'll show you top and bottom, split image. It'll show you all types of variations of before and after. So as we continue to work down, we're still in the color tab. Next to the top label of color, you're gonna see black and white, and then you're gonna see the color wheel. Go ahead and hit that color wheel. In that color wheel, now you have the color mix. I love the color mix. This is where you can remove colors from the photo that you do not want. If you're looking for a warmer style photo, start on the far end with your purples and your magentas, and go ahead and hit that saturation level and just crush it. Hit that purple, crush it. Blues, crush it. No blues, crush it. You might not see a lot in the photo changing as you're crushing from those first three colors, but once you hit that green and drop that green, and you drop that yellow, you notice a big difference in the photo already. You can go into more detail with your photo. Let's say I wanted this Trump Tower clock to remain yellow. I will go ahead and do a selective edit where I select that area and apply the effect only to that area. But I like how it looks. So once we crush those colors, the reds and oranges are the ones that we wanna take a look at. Sometimes I boost the color just to make it pop a little bit. So I'm gonna boost my orange. Making the red pop a little bit is also really gonna make your photo look cool. Let's continue on from the color tab, and we're gonna go into the effects tab. The effects tab can be tricky. You have three main effects in this tab: clarity, dehaze, and vignette. If you use them properly, your photo will look stunning. If you use them out of control, you just made a mess with your photo. This is gonna come down to a more personal preference inside the effects folder. Me, I like to take that clarity slider and I like to just play with it freely, right? Just to see what it does to my photo. The Trump Tower clock is now super sharp. The people, they look fake, and the sky is just blown out even more. So that's at 100%. Now, if I bring it down, it softens the image. It gives it more of a watercolor, artistic type of look. So what do I want? I want a more sharper image. I want more detail in the sides. I don't want to go negative on the clarity bar. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that up just a tad bit. And I'm going to take note of what's going on in the photo as I'm sliding it in different locations. So I'm going to look at these buildings here on the right. I'm going to look at these people on the bottom left. My clock is the main focus of my photo, so I'm going to take a look at that the most. Now, there's no reason why you can't go back to your light. And let's say as you increase your clarity, your highlights got really bright, right? I can go back and pull those down to compensate. Go back to effects, boost my clarity a little more because I know it's gonna add that highlight that I needed. So I'm gonna go ahead and hold that, check out the original, and you can see more detail in the rings around the clock, which I really wanted. And as I zoom out, look at the whole photo, it looks good as a whole. Now, dehaze is something that I don't usually use that often. I don't like what it does to color in photos. So as you slide the dehaze slider down, it just does some weird, I don't know. I don't really like it. Dehaze will pull things from your photo that you didn't think were actually there. Especially if you have a raw photo. If you have a sky and you slide that dehaze slider, you're gonna see clouds that you didn't even see with your own eye. So I'm actually gonna add just a little bit of dehaze to the photo. As I dehaze, it's pulling some detail in the buildings in the background. I just wanted to keep the depth of the photo. So I'm taking a look at the photo as I'm about to say I'm finished, and I'm saying to myself, what can be better? I'm gonna bump up the exposure by 0.3. I'm gonna keep that dull rainy day look. Looks good, looks good. Make it full screen, and I think we have a nice edit. So I'm gonna show you before and after. Now that we're all done, be sure to hit that export button. Be sure to share it on social media. Be sure to hit that like button on this video. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on this video, and be sure to live your life. I'm Austin, and I'm out. I actually just went into frame here. Whatever, guys, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter.